Hi everyone, so I am back in Stockholm and welcome to the weekly EWA webinar. I will show you guys around a bit here. Here, my son, he's reading a book. Milo, vad gör du för någonting? Ska du säga helt eller? Ser man ens det här? Nej. Ja, eller? Där är du. Okay. So we came back on Saturday and Stockholm is fantastic. It's sunny and it's nice. So very nice to be here. We will be here until the 22nd. Today we have a very good webinar because the sites are doing really well. We're also launching tons of new stuff. So I will get to that right away. Okay, so today we'll cover the weekly review of the sites. Some of them are starting to do really well, and it's time to scale them up. And then I will cover a bit on how to find keywords and a short note about footers and how to use them. And then a list of the weekly webinars. And finally, Q&A and the reward points. So let's get this rolling. So here is the KPI board of our sites. Like it says there on the bottom, we are looking to do 90 more sites, and some of them, the concept is getting more or less done. If you look at hairline transplant Turkey here, we are close to a run rate of about 200 leads a month. So the goal of the sites is in two phases. It's first reaching 100 leads, where most of them come from ads. And then in the second step, when the site is a bit more mature, takes a couple of months, what is happening here now? Then we will, the goal is 200. But I mean, and the goal for us is, I mean, obviously, we have these and a couple of more under production that I didn't include in the list. We are looking to do about 100 hair transplant sites globally. And that's more or less any country you can imagine. Right now we have Japanese in production, for example. I would do one highlight here. I would go into our dashboard. So this is the website manager in WordUp, where we, I mean, I use this every day to check how it's going. And one very interesting thing, last week we changed the metas and we improved the page, and magically now hairline transplantation is actually ranking on 4 keywords, very high competition, of course. We're ranking #1 on hairline transplantation in the UK on desktop, and 3 on mobile. And globally, we're actually #10 now on both those keywords. So that's pretty amazing. The site looks like this. So we improved a lot of stuff here, and starts to convert pretty good also. Also in the Turkish site, hairline transplant Turkey, this was our first site. We are now getting really decent cost for it. So for you Evas listening in, or that will listen later, I mean, so the goal is to reach 100 leads in August per site. And I mean, some of them are a bit far away, obviously. But I put here, and you might want to take a screenshot or look at later, what I think is the low-hanging fruits for next week. So if you take the Finnish site, Sanna, we need to improve the Turkish landing page, do add, I mean, hair transplant Turkey and those kind of keywords in English, not only Finnish, and do ads and send them to a special page that probably should look a bit like hairline transplant Turkey or hairline transplantation. Then you need to work on site speed. That will, your site speed is horrible. we need to boost that one. And then it's ranking. I mean, you're ranking amazingly, so we really need to start with outreach this week and next. And that actually goes for hårtransplantation, also ranking fantastically. I mean, almost all pages are ranking. Helene's site the same. We need to do outreach on all of those. So here you have the things that you need to work on. If we do those are going to give the most effect in terms of leads next week, and I think it's Turkey for sure. In terms of ads, and then more landing pages and getting some strong backlinks, so we move all of these positions. I mean, if you look at your site here in Finnish, you have 10 out of 14 keyword, no, 8 out of 14 keywords on page, I mean, on SERP 30 and up. So you can check it here. I mean, all of these here, 8, 9, 9, 9. If you get some good links here and you fix the footer, for example, then these are going to move, and then you start getting some traffic. The same if we take, I mean, here's another one. What is this? Yeah, hårtransplantation.nu is also like amazing. Bit of outreach here, and these keywords, I mean, they will start moving to page 1, and then it will actually be some leads, and then, I mean, we will easily make 100 leads a month, and at pretty decent prices also. So that, I think, is that for this week. And we are looking for site managers. In order to be a site manager, I mean, it's the EWA Fast Track. It's more or less that you have to spend, you need to dedicate like a month or part-time in a month, 2 months maybe, and build an entire site. We, of course, pay you for it, and you need to be a good writer. If you're a good writer, we have German sites, English sites, French sites, I mean, tons of different sites that we need to build now that this is working. So reach out to me in the chat, or right here in the Q&A if you're interested, then we'll give you a test. Then I wanted to cover, so the next point in this webinar was how to find keywords. So I saw a couple of you have actually written clinic reviews that don't have any searches in the country. So the only reason why we're building these pages here, it's not for a self-esteem or something like that. It is to build pages that, I mean, or rank pages or keywords that people search for and convert them into leads. So if it doesn't have any searches, that's a complete waste of time. But I know it's not so easy to find them, so I'm going to show 2 ways of doing it. So one, if you want to find keywords for landing pages, we use a tool called Keyword Tool.io, where if I search for hair transplantation globally, I will get 1 million plus searches. And then I will get a bunch of keywords here. So, I mean, we obviously want to rank for hair transplantation, but that's not the easiest thing in the world. Then we have to cost, hair transplantation Turkey, and here you have a bunch of keywords. These are all potential, for an English site, these are all potential keywords. And if you don't know where to pick from, I mean, we have budget for a lot of pages each month. It's typically the ones where there's pretty high CPC and competition are usually very good. So hair transplantation UK has medium and €2 per click, and the trend is increasing. You obviously want to create a landing page for that. So that landing page would then probably look something like, let's see, one that we all understand, I guess. Hair transplant Turkey, we didn't fix yet. which one can I use? I will take a Swedish one. I know we have done some here. So here, there's the landing page for Turkey. And I mean, it's written very well. So this one will actually rank with time. We will get a lower cost per for our ads because the site is more relevant if we send the traffic here. I mean, there's some work on this page probably, but I mean, it's very relevant. You right way understand that it's about Turkey. So building these kind of pages using this here, I mean, you basically have free traffic, and then you have hair transplantation surgery. I mean, there's tons of keywords here. The other way, because I mean, we want to have clinic reviews. I think it's very useful for the users to be able to find a list of clinics at one place. And one way, I mean, the easiest way to do that is to go to Google, where you write, in my case, I wrote hairline transplant Turkey, and you will get something that looks like this, where you have an ad. I think it's a bit unethical to click on it. It will cost emraginic.com. It will cost him, I mean, €2, €1 for us to do that. That is not very nice, so please don't do that. But then you see here that we rank actually on it, and here you find all the, I mean, like the ads. This guy here, you can write it down and go to his page. Then you have a clinic. So if you take Este Grande here, which I prepared, you see that Este Grande hair transplant reviews. I mean, this site here has 270 searches globally. For this, you can, it's not the best one in the world, obviously, but I mean, you could write a review for that, but you cannot do it if it says not available or it doesn't exist. We have a list for those, but I mean, you need to do that by setting the search settings here. If the site is in Norway, then you have to put Norway here, obviously, and then you click Norway, and then I think there will be, there's actually some searches here. So Este Grande hair has, in English, has 10 searches. It probably is not worth writing a review, but you get the point. Then I mean, Jorn actually, he's doing, by the way, a growth hacking webinar each Monday, Tuesday, something like that. We will get back to that. And he did a really cool job with footers. Footers, we're going to improve on all our sites now. I came across one of our sites that we built last week, the one to the left here, Dr. Brighton's. Let's see, I can take that one here. So it's a pretty good site, but the footer is horrible. I mean, this is a spammy, not decent footer. Let's not do those. Instead, you could do something like this. But if you look at this one here, which is a great footer, it's we just did it. It's for hairline transplant Turkey. That would look like this. I mean, here you have links. It's very useful. You have the disclaimers, and I mean, we're also probably going to add cross-link to other sites here. I mean, this is a useful, good header that looks nice, and it's not hard to create in Elementor, so we should definitely do that. So that, I think, is something that everybody should fix until next week if possible. Then, I mean, people, the point of this webinar, so this is number 8. You can watch all our recordings at youtube.com/wordup, and this is the way nowadays to get started. And one of the things we have been working on for a while now is our weekly webinars. And just to explain how to get rolling in WordUp, it's like how you get started is that you earn reward points. At the end of this webinar, you will get a task. It's writing a split ad, and then you will earn 8 reward points. And these reward points you can then use for free transfers, or you can use them to open up training tasks where we pay experienced writers to coach you a bit and also to run the webinars. So you're spending on training tasks where the payment is lower, and you get checked by the select web-uppers. And if you're good, they are going to give you more tasks. And we actually have a huge backlog of stuff to write, but we don't really have time to teach people on real tasks. That's why we have this reward points tasks. And we are now doing weekly webinars where you see the complete list on our courses page, but a brief recap of it is that Sanna and probably someone else will run weekly Finnish writing webinars on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. I mean, you see for itself here. You have the emails also if you want to contact them or something. Swedish, Helene is going to run it on Mondays. Ira will run a new cool webinar every second Wednesday of the month. It might be an extra that we add, but for now it's once a month. So it's next Wednesday basically, where if you want to run your own team for the Google devices reviews in Finland and Sweden, and we have quite a big opening there, she will teach you how she does it. She has about 30 people now in doing the reviews, and she will teach you how to recruit, how to set everything up. The upside, besides helping your friends and making some money on it, is that if you reach 120 Google devices reviews in a month, and you can share it with someone, you will get a site from us. So you will get a site like this Hårtransplantation or whatever, where you have a 500 euro budget a month and we fast track you. So this is one way of getting it. The people have to live right now in Finland or Sweden, otherwise they don't qualify. And we check that by them doing our surveys on the site. And by the way, these surveys, I see it a lot. You cannot hack it with VPNs. So if you don't live in the country where you want to do the surveys, I see a lot of people trying to do it in the US because there's obviously huge volumes there. There simply is not going to work. You get screened out and it will say like something that your IP is not correct or something like that. One amazing webinar that I will join is the growth hacking webinar that Bjorn has. He's always doing some new cool stuff. He's working on HubSpot and tons of stuff like that also. Linda is having an English webinar. If you are a great writer in English, please reach out. We're going to build 5-10 new sites very soon. So there's an excellent way to get fast tracked. So if she approves you, then you will get your own site. Of course, the highlight of your week, I run my webinar each Thursday at 5:30 Central European time, and I really enjoy it. We also started Japanese webinar, and we even have a Norwegian one now. And Turkish, German, Dutch, Danish, it's coming very, very soon. So you can go to our courses page, which is here. We just updated it today, so it might not be 100% up to date, where you have the list. So you can watch recordings, you can register for a live webinar, and it's basically weekly, and you can also see our other webinars here. Another way to find our webinars is always here. And you can see here all the webinars. We upload more or less everything we do. Sometimes people forget to press record on the webinars. I know it happened to Sanna yesterday. Then it's not uploaded. Otherwise, we believe in transparency and we want to upload it here. So you can learn a lot of stuff by listening to this. And most people are actually better at this than me. So that is that. We will send invitations, or you just go to the pages. So now I think we will go to the Q&A, and let's see what we have in the chat. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them. Okay. So what I mean by outreach is that I mean, our EWAs are going to get pretty text that we will post on other sites to get backlinks to our site. I can actually see if I can find an example of it somewhere here. Yeah, here's one actually. So it will look a bit like this. So we write, and I will give background to it, write a post where here we write a great blog post that we try to submit to different sites. I will help with that, so that's not something that EWAs have to master, but you need to write something that is interesting and that the guy or the person wants to have on their site. So this is one example, and then we also have yeah, here's for example for a business world post where there's a lot of research. So this is for what's the site? businessworld.ee. We actually got this approved, where we link to ourselves here, but then we have done a lot of research. If you look at the post, it's a lot of time spent on research. It basically has to be something where you learn a lot. So that's outreach. So also, he just joined WordUp, but he's stuck at one point because he lacks points. And then a service for me to earn points. Please, what can you do? I mean, so what you can do at the end of this webinar, you will get the opportunity to earn 8 reward points. And like I explained here, those are used to, those are used for you to write the trial text, the test text where you get paid. And if you impress the elite WordUpper, you are going to get more work. And it works like this. So you're invited to the webinars, but we kind of expect you to self-study. I mean, obviously, if you're going to have text with typos or language mistakes, I mean, then you're kind of disqualified. I mean, you need to be able to write to get writing gigs. Yeah, so I said, yeah, he asked why he didn't, he attended Tuesday's webinar, but he didn't receive the points. Yeah, you have to finish, you have to complete the tasks in order to get them. Okay, if there's no more questions, then we will move on to the next part, which is how you get the reward points. And that is, again, last week only 3 people completed it. So at the end of this, everybody who joined, it's 19 people. You will get an email where you will get in your native language, you will get a split ad task where you are going to write a new version of an ad. You cannot fail. I mean, if it's language-wise correct, try to think in terms of the user. What would you click on? I mean, you cannot lie, of course, but if you see the ad, how do you improve it so it becomes more relevant? And then if you complete it and send it in, you will get your 8 points for next week's webinar. So it's always the next week. And you will also get the bonus, of course, if your ad performs well. So we're trying to reach over 12% CTR. That's like the magical number. On a lot of languages now, if we look here, we are, I mean, the best one is again, actually the best one is Finland. Yeah, good job, Sanna. You're at 10% CTR. You don't have any conversion yet, but I mean, that is probably going to change. Yeah, 70 clicks, pretty known. I wonder if something is wrong in your setting here. It says unknown. But we try to reach a high number. If you watch the last week's webinar, I explained pretty detailed why and the math behind it. So the job for this week's webinar is that you rewrite it, and I think it's something that the EWA should do right away as well. This is free money basically, and you cannot master websites or whatever if you're not good at writing ads. I mean, in the end, you need to do ads to get traffic to your site. You cannot, ranking them is actually step 2. You only do that if you see that the site is converting good or you make money on it. So that's the task, and I think that is that for this week's webinar. Please go and check the weekly webinars here on wordapp.com courses. As you see, we are really adding webinars here. So this is watching these webinars and joining them with reward points. That's the way to learn it. And my webinar, you can always earn at least 8 reward points each week by completing the task. Next week, it's going to be a different task. So have a nice week and see you next week. Bye-bye.